Okay, mic is turned on. Let me just turn on my guest mic. Okay, MadiiCake, can you say something?
Hello, hello.
All right, good. We're all good to go. So, hang on. Let me get some music going first, just so it's not completely quiet. All right, there we go. Okay, so currently only have one viewer in the chat. Good to know. um, Anyway, so this is Friday Nights with Film Nerd number 14. There, and just so you know, this is the actual number 14. That number 14 that happened less than a month ago, that doesn't count because it no longer exists, or at least it's unlisted for reasons. But yeah, so MadiiCake, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing very well. How about you?
Can't complain. Still kind of getting over being sick last week. I don't know if you can tell by my gravelly voice, but still feeling a little ill. But otherwise, I'm doing fine.
You didn't have the coof, did you?
I think I did because I remember on Wednesday I had like a
Oh,
really bad case of the shivers. Like I just felt cold like all the time, and yeah, it was pretty miserable.
oh dang. Well, hope you get better soon. I
Well,
mean, it sounds like you're definitely doing better.
yeah, no, don't worry. I'm feeling a lot better. I still do have like a bad cough a few times and a bit of a gravelly voice, but otherwise I'm doing just fine.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah. Anyway, personal health problems aside, Maddie, what are we gonna be talking about tonight?
Well, as you can see by the title, viewers in the chat, we are going to be talking about reboots and remakes, the good, the bad, and the cringe.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And you were the one who suggested this topic. Why specifically did you want to talk about this subject?
Because especially in this past like recent years, reboots and remakes have been so like rampant, and very rarely is it really well done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a topic I also like to just riff on too, where we just complain about, oh, the mouse just wanting to make some more money. Let's animate some lions.
Yeah, you have some very choice words to say about a certain mega corporation remaking some of their classic movies in an attempt to squeeze some more money.
Ugh. I mean, it doesn't even go there. There's been anime reboots too, but
Oh,
that's
yeah, exactly.
they're all over. Reboots and remakes are all over the spectrum.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, like, remakes and reboots aren't necessarily a new thing. I mean, there have been reboots and remakes for years. I mean, hell, even the Universal monster movies are technically remakes of, because there was like a Frankenstein movie made in like 1910, and the 1931 movie is technically a remake of that. So it's not exactly a new concept. It's just, nowadays it's much more rampant.
Right.
I mean, obviously, the big culprit nowadays, as I'm sure many of you can tell by the image behind the two of us, is the Disney live action remakes, where basically,
Ugh.
I'd say this started. Would you say this started with like Cinderella back in 2014?
Yes, because I think that was the first one they did,
Yeah, I mean
wasn't it?
there was like the Alice in Wonderland movie that Tim Burton did,
Oh
but
yeah.
I don't know if I'd really call that a remake of the animated version, but I don't know. I would say Cinderella was kind of more the start because I haven't seen too many of these live action Disney remakes, but from the ones I have seen, it just kind of seems like they're doing the exact same movie, but just quote unquote live action.
And there's a lot of shoehorned propaganda in there, just for you can tell, especially when it gets to like some of the stuff like the Lady and the Tramp, or
Hmm.
just stuff where they get, or the Mulan one. Oh my
Oh
god,
yeah,
I hate what they do with Mulan.
I was told to avoid the Mulan remake.
They like not just remade it; they just retconned everything about the original movie. It feels
Yeah.
like
So no, I'm guessing there's no Eddie Murphy dragon in there.
there wasn't a dragon at all. There was a phoenix, and Mulan supposedly has like these superpowers.
Yeah.
Dude, there wasn't even any songs. I'm like, you cannot remake Mulan and not have the most memed song from the movie.
Yeah.
Everybody sings "I'll Make a Man Out of You." It's a meme song. You can't not have that in there.
Yeah, no, exactly. I remember when I saw the Aladdin remake, they kind of thinking about what you were saying earlier about the propaganda. In that movie, they shoehorn in this like new song for Jasmine where I don't remember the full song, but I remember she sings like "I Will Not Be Silent," like it was like a women empowerment song. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for equal rights and all that, but it just honestly felt super forced. Like it's just Disney, trying really hard to be progressive.
Exactly. I mean, Jasmine, she's my favorite Disney princess, and like in the original movie, Jasmine on her own, she exuded that confidence, and being a woman that wasn't going to be pushed around. You didn't have to sugarcoat it and add on that extra layer to where it really feels like it's female empowerment shoved down your throat. And like I said, I'm all for equal rights and all that, but there's a limit where you don't just shove it.
Exactly. GG Anime 69 in the chat says, wasn't there some bullshit where she catches an arrow?
The Mulan one, yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say I don't remember that happening in the Aladdin remake.
No, that wasn't the Mulan one. Oh my gosh, it was. They made her freaking. They basically turned Mulan into a Mary Sue. It was. Ugh.
So they basically turned her into Rey from the newer Star Wars movies.
And Hyper Supreme Meme says, never saw the Lady and the Tramp and what they do to the story. Kind of like what they did with the Dumbo one. They kind of tried to center it more so on the humans.
Yeah.
But also kind of but with Lady and the Tramp, they try to keep it with the animals too. Mm-hmm. But with the humans, it really like it was an interracial marriage, which like I have nothing against, but they really kind of wanted to focus more on that with the plot of the struggles of an interracial marriage in those time periods. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, with this movie about dogs, of a hoity-toity little girly dog and a street rat. That's what the movie's about. It's Lady and the Tramp. Like, and they made the Scotty dog. They made him a girl. Made him a girl.
Okay.
Yes. And I'm just like, no, don't turn Jacques. He was a cute character. Why'd you make him a girl? Why did you do? I don't.
By the way, real quick, because I was trying to remember the name of the song from Aladdin that they shoehorned in. The song is called "Speechless."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that. I think the only other one I saw was the live action, well, quote unquote live action Jungle Book, and that one I remember was actually pretty okay. Like, I mean, I obviously wasn't that big a fan of like all the CGI animals, but I do give the kid who played Mowgli a lot of credit. That because if you see the behind the scenes images from that movie, like it's all blue and green screen or whatever. Like the kid's basically acting off of nothing, and that's very hard for an actor to do, especially a kid actor. So I give him a lot of credit for doing that.
Yeah. And unlike in most of these remakes, it was just the one human actor. So
yeah. But then, of course, the guy who made that, Jon Favreau, decided, hey, the Jungle Book remakes seem to go over well. How about I take a beloved movie from the 90s, also with animals, and remake that? Yeah. I remember when the Lion King remake was coming out, and I just remember seeing the trailers, and I'm like, oh wow, this looks exactly like what I saw back in 1995. And then I remember a friend of mine, a friend of mine actually saw the movie in the theater, and he both texted and called me to say, hey, this movie's not very good, don't go see it.
Yeah. Like, if anything, the script for it, the dialogue is literally 95% of the original stuff.
Yeah.
The only difference is like CGI, and it's granted the CGI is animated well. They really do look like lions. They got the movements and the quirks of lions.
Yeah.
But the downside is with the Disney-fied cartoony animals, they showcase that emotion, and when you're watching the movie, you feel for it when you see the betrayed look on Mufasa's face with Scar drops. You feel that, so his death is more empowering. With
Yeah,
the live action, you just get this straight-faced line. You don't feel anything. There's
yeah,
no emotion to get you hooked on these characters.
yeah. It's almost like animals don't really have much, can't really emote or anything.
Exactly.
Hang on, let me just because I just wanted to pull this up really quick. Just to kind of show your point before about the difference between animation and the quote unquote live action is that like you've got this side by side comparison here where like you've got the animated baby cub Simba, and he looks cute, he looks a little chunky, and you can tell there's like some kind of emotion there. But then you've got the CGI one next to him, and he just looks like a cat, just like being like, okay, he's just kind of chilling.
Like, okay, like this is happening.
Yeah. JT Cobb in the chat is saying, I think the reason why there were no dragons in Mulan was because they wanted a realistic take on it, but there were also shapeshifters in the movie, but apparently dragons are too unrealistic.
Dragons make more sense because it's Chinese mythology.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but like, Shang-Chi is, that movie had a lot of like roots in Chinese mythology, and that had dragons in it, and nobody was complaining about that.
Exactly. It was basically like, Chinese Doctor Strange.
Yeah. GG Anime 69 in the chat says the live action Lion King looks crusty.
Oof, that's putting it lightly.
Yeah. But I remember you were mentioning how with the newer Lion King, it just felt like they did the exact same movie over again. Like, didn't change anything in the script. Like, when it comes to movies that are remade or rebooted, like, I'm generally not for it. But if you are gonna remake something, at least put a different spin on it. Like, don't just, keep the spirit of the original, but do your own thing with it. Because then if you just remake it, wholesale, it's just gonna be pointless.
Exactly. There's got to be that balance there. And I feel like, their heart was in the right place with, some of the movies they made, but at the same time, people who are anti-political want to go watch a movie to escape politics. They don't want to watch a movie that has that shit sprinkled in there. Oh, I'm sorry. I probably should be swearing on your stream.
Oh no. What? Wait, what'd you say? I didn't catch that.
I said the S word.
Oh, I don't give a fuck. You can say it if you want to.
Oh, sweet.
Just so long as you don't say, certain words that might get the stream taken down.
Oh yeah, no. I am aware that the gamer words are not a no. So don't worry, I don't say those.
Yeah. Otherwise, just say whatever the fuck you want to. It's totally fine.
Okay, cool. Sweet. All right.
But no, yeah. So I actually found a list the other day of because I was looking up stuff on reboots and remakes and all that, and I actually found a list compiled by highconsumption.com of the 20 best movie remakes and reboots of all time. Because like a lot of remakes and reboots in general do get a bit of a bad rep, but I can actually attest to the fact that there are some remakes that are actually pretty good. So I'm just gonna pull up the link here. All right, and I'm gonna also stream it to you. Let me see. All right. Okay. Can you see my screen?
There we go.
Okay. Hyper Super Meme says, I will say Lion King remake looks good, and I feel it did deserve that award for the special effects, but the same movie minus for some small plot changes. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, because like I said, I never saw the newer Lion King, but from everything I had heard, people were saying like, oh, this movie looks fantastic, but just because it has great effects doesn't necessarily make it a good movie.
Like it goes back to the whole argument of video games and their good graphics. Just because it looks pretty doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah, exactly. So I found this list here of the best movie remakes and reboots. I'm just kind of gonna quickly glance through it because there are some here that I know for a fact I haven't seen, like the 2007 310 to Yuma. Batman Begins. Yeah, this one, like, admittedly, I'm not the biggest fan of Batman Begins or the Christopher Nolan, excuse me, Christopher Nolan trilogy in general, just because for me, when it comes to Batman, I've always been more a fan of, like, the more comic book style Batman, like Batman '89 with Michael Keaton. Like, to me, that I consider to be like a true Batman movie. But Batman Begins, like, I think it was the right movie for the right time, because before Batman Begins, you had, Batman and Robin, where they essentially tried to do like the '60s Batman series, but much goofier.
Oh yeah, I definitely got that feel, and I think George Clooney did portray it very well in that movie.
Yeah,
It did
like,
give that kind of that whimsical kind of Adam West sort of feel to it.
yeah, but I don't know, like, like, for true Batman fans, that really wasn't the kind of movie they were wanting. Like, it felt like they went from two really gritty, kind of darker comic book movies to two movies that were, made for kids. They're much more lighthearted, goofier, and that's not really what the fans wanted. But no, yeah, Batman Begins, I can agree with it being on this list, because, I mean, it did, revitalize the Batman franchise, because after Batman and Robin, there wasn't another movie for, like, 10 years. So, Begins, I can agree with being on this list. It deserves to be there, at least for that. Let's see, the 91 Cape Fear. I've heard this one's supposed to be really good, but I've never seen it. Oh yeah, Casino Royale. I don't know if MadiiCake, I don't know if you're familiar with the Bond movies.
I am, yes.
Okay. Are you a fan of the James Bond movies?
Many of them are hit or miss for me, but lately I really do like Daniel Craig's portrayal as Bond in his latest movies. Mm-hmm. I think, of course, Casino Royale was like one of the best.
Yeah, and I would definitely agree that it deserves to be on this list because like around the 2000s, like that was when Bond was like they were trying to have Bond appeal more to like younger audiences, like have Bond be more extreme and like do ridiculous stunts like paragliding off of a wave or something like that, just really goofy shit. So I think Casino Royale was definitely the best way to bring the series back to its roots, and I agree. I think Daniel Craig made for an excellent James Bond.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Let's see what else we got on this list. The Dawn of the Dead remake. I know you're not a huge horror fan. I've only seen parts of the Dawn of the Dead remake, and maybe I'm kind of biased, but I've kind of been weary about seeing it just because I love the original Dawn of the Dead, and I'm just worried the remake might tarnish it a little bit. But that actually is something I did kind of want to get into. Is my one of my problems with a lot of like remakes and reboots, like even if they're good, is I kind of hate that from now on, whenever a remake to a movie comes out, even if it's actually good, you always have to specify like which one you're talking about when you're mentioning it in conversation. Like,
exactly.
Like the Halloween sequel / reboot from a few years ago. Like, I enjoyed the movie, but I hate the fact that they just called it Halloween, because like now it's like, oh, I'm gonna watch Halloween. It's like, oh, are you gonna watch the 1978 original, the 2007 remake, or the 2018 movie? It's like, you couldn't have just called it, I don't know, Halloween Returns or something like that.
Some fancy slogan, that way it's easy to differentiate the two.
Yeah.
Or more.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's see. The Departed. Oh yeah, because I think The Departed actually was a remake. I never saw the original, but The Departed is a great movie if you've never seen it.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it. I didn't even know it was a remake.
Yeah, apparently it's a remake of like an Asian film or something. I have no idea. But The Departed is, in my opinion, one of Scorsese's best movies. Though I always like to call it The Departed because the movie takes place in Boston and everyone has that thick, Bostonian accent.
I see.
Let's see what else we got here. Oh fuck yeah, Dread. So some context here. There was this British comic book character called Judge Dredd, who was basically like a GJ Anime 69 Halloween 2 Electric Boogaloo. I'm gonna be honest. I am not the biggest fan of the whole Electric Boogaloo joke. Mostly just because I feel like it's kind of overdone. Like it's the joke everybody makes.
Mm.
And actually, MadiiCake, I don't know if you know where that joke comes from.
I actually don't know. Could you enlighten me on that?
Yeah, sure. So, in the mid '80s, there was this trend that really broke out called breakdancing, and there was a studio called Canon Films. They were known for making basically like B movie schlock, and they wanted to capitalize on the whole breakdancing trend. So they decided to make a movie called, if I can just pull it up here, they made a movie called Breakin', and it was such a hit that they decided to make a sequel, and that sequel was called Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo. So, and now
that makes sense.
And just to give you an idea about how quickly they rushed this thing out, the original and the sequel came out literally the same year, 1984. They were released like within months of one another.
This is the quickest a sequel has ever been made. They just imagine the crunch time they had to film everything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they got to chase the trend while the iron's hot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. JT Cobb, we need more blank to the search for more money jokes. Yeah, like in Spaceballs.
I mean, oh god, yeah.
But I don't know. That's kind of why whatever people make, because the whole idea of the joke is to refer to like a sequel that nobody asked for. But me personally, I like to use sequel subtitles from other movies, like something 2 Cruise Control, or something 3 The Escape Clause, or something Escape to Africa.
Yeah, or Returns.
Yeah, or my favorite, Resurrection.
Oh yeah.
Because there's like Alien Resurrection and Halloween Resurrection. But anyway, so back to that list I mentioned before. So Dredd was a comic book character from like the 70s, I think. It was basically like an allegory for like fascism and like, America being like the world police or whatever. They made a movie in 95 with Sylvester Stallone that is like, the comics are supposed to be like dark and gritty and serious with like some dark humor, but the 95 version was like really over the top and silly, and Stallone had like a bunch of one-liners and he had a love interest and all this other stuff. It was nothing like the comics. So they made a new movie in 2012 that is the exact opposite of it. Like it's much more faithful to the original comics. It's a much darker, much grittier, and much more violent. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
Actually, hang on. I was actually about to compare the two. I was going to show a trailer for the original Dredd versus the new Dredd, but after what happened in the 14 that no longer exists, I don't think I want to, risk, getting copyright struck by a movie company.
Oh yeah, don't want Susan's. I'm pretty sure Susan's got her hounds probably sniffing you out every time you hit the live button, just in case.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, I've only got like a little over 100 subscribers. I feel like Susan doesn't really care. But again, I just want to, better safe than sorry.
Right.
GG Anime 69, Dredd is a god tier movie. Yeah, absolutely. It's if you haven't seen Dredd, I mean, obviously it's not for everybody, but if you like really hyper violent action, then you'll enjoy Dread. It's awesome. Uh, but anyway, so back to that list. What else we got? Oh, Evil Dead. Okay, so I mentioned before with like the Dawn of the Dead remake how I avoided that because I love the original Dawn of the Dead. The Evil Dead is my all-time favorite horror film. So when I found out they were remaking it, I was really kind of nervous about it. And then I saw it and I was like, it's actually not too bad cuz like a lot of times remakes will try to like you know just make a quick buck off of a recognizable name or whatever, but the remake of Evil Dead, like it felt like it was made by people who actually cared about the source material, that they were fans of the original and wanted to pay homage to it, if that makes sense. Maddie, did you die?
Can you hear?
Oh yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, sorry, I don't know what happened, but so you said it was a fan made
Uh,
film, this one?
well, not necessarily fan made, but it felt like it was made by people who actually cared about the original. They weren't just trying to make a quick buck off of it.
Gotcha.
But no, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I would still prefer the original Evil Dead, but the remake actually wasn't half bad.
Okay.
What else do we got? Oh yeah, that's right. The guy who made it later went on to make Don't Breathe, which was actually a pretty solid horror movie.
Yeah, that one's good.
Yeah, but yeah, if you liked Don't Breathe, you might like the Evil Dead remake. It's definitely a lot bloodier than Don't Breathe. And in case you're worried, don't worry. The Evil Dead remake doesn't have a certain scene with a turkey baster.
Oh, I thought you could say jump scares.
Well, it's got that, but it's not. It's not one of those modern day horror films that like overloads it with jump scares.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So like paranormal.
Yeah, something like that. Oh, the Godzilla reboot from 2014. Yeah, this one I can definitely agree being on the list, especially because we had actually gotten an American Godzilla back in '98, which the less said about that movie, the better. So the 2014 one was definitely a massive step up. Even though it does have its problems, like with the exception of Bryan Cranston, most of the human characters were like kind of boring in that. But I mean, you can say that for a lot of Godzilla movies.
It's Godzilla. Everybody came to watch the freaking reptar ravage the city.
Exactly. Although, actually, that's another thing a lot of people complain about with the movie is that Godzilla is not really in the movie that much. Like, I don't think he shows up until about, like, 40 minutes in.
Okay. And how long is the movie?
I want to say it's about 2 hours, maybe.
Okay, so that's at least a good fair bit they get screen time.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, before Godzilla shows up, we do get some monster action because the basic plot is that it's like two monsters called Mutos are awakened, and basically if they like reproduce and breed, they'll like take over the world. So Godzilla has to step in and stop them.
Kaiju fight.
Yeah, but no, yeah, the Godzilla 2014, like the '98 American version's like hated, but the 14 one is a bit more divided. But I'd say more people love it than they do hate it.
Bit of a mishmash, or
Yeah.
not mishmash. So.
Yeah. Oh, okay. This one I don't think belongs on the list. The 2007 Halloween. I haven't seen the whole thing. I saw maybe half of it, and the half of it that I saw, I did not like. Maddie, have you ever seen the original Halloween?
Actually, the first Halloween I saw was the 2018 one, and the only reason I went to go see it was because my coworkers were seeing it, and that was the only social life I had when I was at work.
Oh, fair enough. I mean, at least your friends took you to see a good movie.
Mm.
But well, the reason why I brought it up was because one of the things about Michael Myers that makes him such an iconic killer is that he, for the most part, has no motivation other than just to kill people. There's no like deep backstory to him. There's no motivation for why he kills. It's just he's a force of nature and he wants to kill people. The 2007 remake tried to do something different by giving him more of a fleshed out backstory, and by doing that, they kind of made him a much weaker character.
Yeah, you don't do that to villains, like really good villains, especially in slasher movies.
Yeah.
People come to see these movies for the killing. They want to see blood. They want to see bodies and body parts.
Yeah.
Like they don't come here for a plot.
Yeah. I mean, not that a horror movie can have a plot. Like there are plenty of horror movies that have great plots to them, but like with the killer, like a lot of times the less you know about them, the better, because the less you know about them, the scarier they are.
Keeps him from what's the word I'm looking for? My brain dead. I'm sorry.
Are you thinking of like sympathetic or?
Yeah, I think that's what I was thinking of. It's just like, don't make them sympathetic. They need the element of surprise.
Yeah. JT Cobb is saying, so kind of like Maleficent and Cruella.
The Cruella movies sucked.
Yeah. We'll get to that in just a second. Not quite, because in the Halloween remake, they don't make him like sympathetic. They just kind of elaborate more on his backstory, like showing him like as a kid, like killing his sister and then going to the mental hospital and his time living there. Like it focuses a lot more on him rather than like the main the final girl in the movie. Which, I mean, that can work, because I've seen plenty of slashers where they make the killer the main focus and you actually feel somewhat sorry for him, but still recognize, oh, this is a bad guy who's doing terrible things. But I don't know, with Michael Myers, like in the original Halloween, they build him as the Shape, not Michael Myers, because the whole idea was that he was supposed to be more like a force of nature, like a thing that just kills. Like it has no, you can't argue with it, reason with it, whatever. It just is there to kill. You don't really need any more explanation than that. But Rob Zombie was like, hey, I'm gonna try and make him more of a character, and while I'm at it, I'm gonna have all the characters say fucking shit and piss and cocksucker and motherfucker, and have them all look dirty and greasy and grimy, because I'm Rob Zombie, and every movie I make has to be like House of a Thousand Corpses. But
I was gonna say you probably did all that because if he just made a sympathetic villain, and we wasn't gonna get the PG-13 rating.
Probably, yeah. But anyway, I feel like I've talked way too much. Did you want to go off on Cruella or Maleficent?
I mean, it really just ties into the sympathetic villain thing. There are some villains that don't need to have sympathy for them. I feel like you are meant to hate this person, and that's fine. Like, not every character needs a backstory. And if they do, don't make it like give them a justify their actions. No, like Cruella kills freaking dogs and puppies. Nothing needs to be justified, even by a terrible life and backstory of her mother getting killed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you're meant to hate this person, you're meant to hate him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like, I'm trying to think of the right way to say this. I think there's a way that you can like give a villain like a backstory that where you don't necessarily sympathize with them, but you understand where they're coming from. Like, to me, I think that can make it more dynamic. But yeah, it's when you make a really awful character and try to make him sympathetic that it really just kind of ruins the movie for you.
Yeah. Don't justify their actions. Explain it. You can explain it as much as you want. That's fine. Explain why they do things, but don't make it the audience sympathize or even justify their actions.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So the next one on this list is It from 2017. This one I can agree with being on the list because I've only seen like maybe part of the original made-for-TV movie back in the '90s, and I actually have a really funny story about the TV miniseries with Tim Curry as Pennywise. So I was really young, probably like, I don't know, 12 or 13, and this is well before I got into like horror movies as much as I did now. And a friend of mine brought over a copy of the It TV miniseries, saying like, "Hey, let's watch this." So we pop it in, and we get to about the first 15 minutes of the movie, when Georgie's like running in the rain after his boat, and then it goes into the sewer, and then Pennywise pops out, and like the two of them start talking, and then the scene, and then Pennywise like grabs the Georgie and pulls him in, and you get this close-up shot of his teeth, like these sharp teeth, and that scene scared the absolute piss out of me. Like, and I'm not making this up, for the next like year and a half or so, I was terrified of sewer grates, because I always imagined Pennywise was kind of looking up at me and just kind of staring at me and just watching me wherever I went.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. Did you see the 2017 It?
Honestly, I kind of suppressed it from my mind. But I did see the Tim Curry one, and
yeah,
even when I saw the trailer, the promotional posters for the 2017 one, I'm just like, this movie's gonna be because the way I see it, I compare it with character design.
Sure.
The Tim Curry Pennywise, he looks like a normal clown, and he's whimsical and funny, and it's probably because Tim Curry is a funny guy, but at the same time, he portrays Pennywise as this normal clown. Can do wrong. He's just trying to have fun. When the stuff happens, like the minute when he opens up and you see the teeth and eats Georgie, like, boom, instant, you realize this guy's a bad guy. Looks are deceiving, and it plays off that perfectly. 2017 you see him, immediately he's evil, and therefore his scary scenes, while they are scary, they're not as impactful, I think.
No, yeah, that's actually a really good point, because I'll admit, like, I've seen like parts of the miniseries since I've gotten older, and maybe it's just me, but like whenever I watch like the scenes of Tim Curry as Pennywise, I can't help but like laugh just because of how over the top he is with his performance. Like, I don't know, it's just hard for me to find him scary when he's like, in the library going like, "Hi, do you have Prince Albert in a can? You do? Well, you better let the poor guy out." Like, I'm sorry, but or like when he's stalking the one guy in the mental hospital, and then all of a sudden he turns into a dog and like jumps out of the clown costume to attack him. Like, I'm sorry, that's just way too silly for me to take it seriously.
Right.
And CDT in the chat says It 1 was great, It 2 sucked. Yeah, I definitely agree. Like the 2017 It was really good. The second one was fine, but I don't know. I've heard it's the same problem with the miniseries, that like the stuff with the kids is really good, but the stuff with the adults is kind of weak.
Yeah.
I will say,
kind of a side note to It in general. Would you believe me if I told you that I knew somebody that saw 2017 It and thought he was attractive?
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised, because I don't want to go into too many personal details, but let's just say I've known a few women in my time who have a particular feeling about the newer Pennywise.
And just like, I'm gonna guess they're the type of women that are into all the creepypastas on a sexual level.
Yeah. I mean,
that makes sense.
I mean, I don't know, like, I thought it was weird when I saw women, like, swooning over Loki from the Marvel movies, but like, now I'm like, okay, I can kind of see it, but the whole Pennywise thing, I mean, you do you, but still just feels really weird.
Yeah. I mean, Loki at least makes sense, because, I mean, Hiddleston, he is pretty attractive, and...
Yeah, and he is very charismatic.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I'm
But
saying
like
not that
I'm sorry. Go
no.
ahead.
I was just gonna say not that the newer Pennywise is uncharismatic, but he's just like much more like ghoulish and much scarier looking. Like I kind of don't really see it.
Yeah, if I had to go on a date with any of them, I'm choosing Tim Curry Pennywise.
Yeah,
He's
understandable.
definitely one I'm suspecting.
At least he'll make you laugh.
Exactly, and I like a guy who can make me laugh.
Okay. Anyway, so going back to the list, what do we got next? Oh, speak of the devil, the Jungle Book remake.
Jungle Book.
Yeah. I was actually gonna ask, what did you think of the live action Jungle Book?
I thought it was pretty well done. I thought the animals were very well made. I thought, and like we go back on what you said about the kid, he did a really great job acting, even though he was just like really the only one there, just talking to green screens.
Yeah, I will admit, the like when it came to the animals, I thought the actors they chose are pretty good. I thought Bill Murray made for a decent Baloo, though. I don't know. For me, the real highlight of the movie was Christopher Walken as King Louis.
Oh yeah.
Just hearing him,
was...
just hearing him go, "Ooby doo, I want to." God damn it! Sorry, Siri had to chime in there. But you got Walken just going, "Ooby doo, I want to be like you." Ooh, ooh.
That's a really good impression, man.
Oh, thank you. I kind of pride myself on my Christopher Walken impression.
Mm-hmm. It was a spot on.
I thought Christopher Walken as King Louis was phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, I would say he stole the show, but to be fair, Christopher Walken steals the show in just about everything he's in.
Yeah.
But
now, was it Bill Murray or was it John Goodman?
Bill Murray was Baloo in the Jungle Book. I think John Goodman did the voice of Baloo in like the direct-to-video sequel. Like, I don't know if you're old enough to remember that back in like the mid 90s to about the mid 2000s, Disney, kind of like what they were doing now with the remakes, there was this trend where they released like direct-to-video sequels to like their more popular movies.
Oh, yeah, like Mermaid Lady in the Camp.
Yeah, there was like the Return of Jafar and Aladdin and the King of Thieves, and a lot of them really just look like like TV quality, and in some cases they kind of were. Like I think there was one that was like a Beauty and the Beast sequel that was really like 3 episodes of a potential TV series that were just like stitched together.
Well, the thing is with the Aladdin one, the second movie was supposed to be the pilot for the animated series, and the third one was supposed to be the finale, which is why the second movie we got the voice actor for Homer to play Genie, because he was the voice actor of Genie in the series. Yeah. And I think the ones like with episodes like this, and they did this for the Cinderella 2 one, they were trying to the series with the just never took off.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, we've already kind of gone over the Jungle Book remake, so we can just move past that one. Kong Skull Island. Not gonna lie, when I saw Kong, I thought they were gonna talk about the 2005 King Kong, but Kong Skull Island was actually really good. You there?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you were kind of cutting out there.
Oh no, yeah, you're fine. My internet sucks.
All right, yeah, no worries. But yeah, Kong Skull Island. I've only seen the movie like maybe once or twice. But I remember that was actually a lot of fun. Honestly, I actually kind of liked it better than the 2014 Godzilla.
Actually, I've never seen any of the Kong movies, so I can't really put my hat in the ring on this.
No, you're fine. But no, yeah, Kong Skull Island was pretty fun. It's basically like it takes place in the 70s, and they fully embrace that. Like parts of it are like something out of a Vietnam War movie, and I think they even have like Fortunate like CCR on the soundtrack. CDT says, "Oh, was this the one with Brie Larson? Yeesh, I don't think she's a good actress." Yeah, Brie Larson was in Kong Skull Island, and I know she gets a bit of a bad rep, but I don't I don't mind Brie Larson that much. You know, I can see why people don't really care much for her, but I think she's fine.
She was pretty until she got her hair cut in that pixie cut. I'm just like, no.
Oh,
I want your long locks.
are you talking about the kind of
Captain
lesbianish?
Marvel.
Well, I was gonna say the
Yeah.
lesbianish haircut she had in Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will agree that. Let me actually pull up a picture of that, just to kind of compare. Let's see. Okay. Okay, yeah. So this is what she looked like in the first Captain Marvel. You know, not pretty decent. Okay, or whatever. This is her in Avengers Endgame.
They were just, they were
Yeah,
really
like
trying to
I really
shoehorn
don't know.
politics.
Um, let's see, CDT. She's all right. I just don't think she has any screen presence whatsoever. Yeah, I can see that. She like even in the Captain Marvel, like it kind of took me a while to get behind her because she was like kind of wooden in that movie. Honestly,
I just feel like the character in general is just like a Mary Sue.
yeah. I mean, kinda, but we're kind of getting off track.
Right.
Hyper Super Meme says I prefer the 2005 King Kong. Yeah, the 2005 one, that one gets a lot of flack because like it's 3 hours long and feels kind of bloated. But I don't know. I kind of like the 2005 King Kong, like it because the thing is that Peter Jackson, the original King Kong from like 1933 was like the movie that made him want to become a filmmaker. And after Lord of the Rings, he basically could just do whatever he wanted. So why not pay tribute to the movie that inspired him and do his own version of it?
Like how all of his filming spots are always in New Zealand.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's where he's from. Got to represent.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Peter Jackson was born and raised in New Zealand.
For some reason, I thought he was just Aussie.
Uh,
New Zealand, dang.
yeah, no, he's a full blown Kiwi.
Is that what they call them?
Yeah, they refer to themselves as Kiwis.
Well, damn, I learned something new today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, JT Cop. Remember the sequel to the '76 King Kong movie where Kong had a girlfriend and a kid? I know what he's talking about. They did a remake of King Kong back in the '70s, and then they made a sequel to it like 10 years later. Where I've never seen it, but apparently Kong, like, there was like a lady Kong that was used to give him a blood transfusion, and like by the end of the movie they have a son together.
For a second there, I thought it was like a human woman that was his girlfriend. I'm just like, what? Hold on,
Ye-
what?
yeah. um,
So basically, Marmalade and DK got together.
yeah. I don't know that. Yeah. Sorry, I have no words. But no, yeah. Going back to the original topic, Kong Skull Island. If you ever get a chance to, it's pretty fun. And it's got a really good cast. It's got Tom Hiddleston. Who else is in it? Let's see. Samuel L. Jackson, John C. Reilly, John Goodman, and of course you got a giant monkey fighting like giant underground lizards.
Nice.
Yeah. Hyper Super Meme says, I love the set pieces. I love the Stampede scene. It was my favorite film as a kid. Yeah, the 2005 movie has some pretty good sequences like that. Like in the last hour of the movie when they bring Kong back to New York, there's a scene where he like breaks free and he's like going on a rampage through New York, and it's really well done, especially because it's like snowing. There are some kind of goofier moments in it. Like there's a part where the main girl, who's played by Naomi Watts, and him like go ice skating like on a frozen lake.
That actually sounds really wholesome.
Yeah, it actually is kind of adorable. Like one of the big differences between like that King Kong and the original is that in the original the main woman was like really like afraid of Kong, which understandable. I mean, I'm sure anyone would be terrified of like giant ape, carrying her around to like, and then climbing the tallest building in New York. I'm sure Maddie agrees with what I just said.
Frick is wrong with my shit? I'm so sorry.
No,
I don't know what is going on.
You're fine. You're fine. Don't worry about it. But no, yeah. What I was saying was in the original, the main woman, I think her name was like Anne or something. She's like terrified of Kong, but in the 2005 one, like she's at first scared of him, but then she like kind of feels sorry for him, and like they don't necessarily like fall in love, but there is like kind of a friendship almost. Like she, keeps him entertained, and like they have scenes like they ice skate together, and again it's not like a love. It's more just like they become like friends. So it's kind of more sad when Kong dies at the end.
That actually is really sad. That's good character development.
Yeah, that like I know I'm going off topic here, but like for all the flack that movie has gotten, I think the 2005 Kong is kind of an example, like a good example of a remake where you take the original and try to put your own spin on it, make it a little different.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
remake done well.
Yeah, exactly. Back to this list. The Magnificent Seven. Never seen it, but I know what they're talking about. The Mummy from '99. I don't know if I'd really call this one a remake because I've seen the original Mummy from like the 30s, and the Brendan Fraser one is not quite the same movie. Like, because the original is more of like a horror film, and the 99 one does have horror elements, but it's much more of like an adventure film.
So there's like Indiana Jones, but with more horror stuff.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, I haven't seen the 99 Mummy in a long time, but I do remember it being pretty fun. I mean, it's better than the 2017 Mummy with Tom Cruise, but that's not saying much.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, the Mummy, I can agree with that one being on this list. What else we got? Oh yeah, I always forget that Ocean's 11 with George Clooney is actually a remake. All right. Anyway, I'll just move on. Rise of the. Oh.
Hold on. Sorry, my thing was cutting out again.
No, you're fine. But no, yeah, I just went over. Fuck was it? Ocean's 11, which I always kind of forget that one's a remake, but yeah, that one's pretty good. Rise of the Planet of the Apes. This is another movie that I was really weary about because of all the CGI apes in it. Like, I don't know. But I don't know. Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Like, it's not perfect. Like, there are some pretty cringy moments in it, but I remember that one actually being pretty decent. And honestly, I kind of think the sequels to it are better.
I mean, I like their take on it.
Yeah.
But the sequels definitely were a little more well done.
Yeah, the sequels focus less and less on the human characters.
Because it's the Planet of the Apes. There's no more humans.
Yeah, but also like the human characters in the first two like newer Apes movies were kind of uninteresting, and unfortunately because of James Franco, it's kind of hard to watch Rise of the Planet of the Apes now.
It's got that awkward taste.
Yeah, exactly. Hyper Super Meme says the Rise trilogy is pretty based. Yeah, I agree. It is really good. Though I think again the sequels were much better, which is very rare to say. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Spider-Man Homecoming. Yeah, I can agree with this one, and this one's actually kind of timely considering, the new movie is pretty much like just destroying the box office right now.
Oh, yeah. I haven't had the chance to see it, but I really want to.
Did you see the other Spider-Man movies, like the newer Tom Holland ones?
Actually, no, I have not seen the Spider-Man movies. The only Spider-Man movies in Marvel I've seen are the ones where he's in like the Marvel Avengers movies. I've not seen any of the
Oh,
spin-offs Marvel Spider-Man
okay.
movies. I know I am so behind. I really
No,
need
you're
to though.
you're fine. Well, no, I was referring to like Spider-Man: Homecoming and Far From Home. Did you see those ones?
Not yet.
Okay, well,
I'm gonna see No Way Home tomorrow, so I really need
okay.
to catch up.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely should check them out. They're both really fun movies, and I can tell you, having seen it twice in the theater, No Way Home is really good, especially if you liked the older Spider-Man movies. Because like I know people will debate on who the best Spider-Man is. If it's Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield or Tom Holland. I don't know. Like my whole thing is that like Tobey Maguire, I think, made a good Peter Parker, but a kind of okay Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield was not a great Peter Parker, but a pretty decent Spider-Man. And I think Tom Holland kind of hits that sweet spot between being a good Peter Parker and a good Spider-Man.
Okay, he's got kind of the balances the two out.
Yeah. Even though, like, I'll admit I do have a bit of a soft spot for Maguire, just because he's the Spider-Man that I grew up with as a kid.
Same. He was my first celebrity crush.
You know what? I've heard weirder.
Well, I mean, I was a little kid. I didn't know what, adult things were.
No, yeah, that's understandable. And without giving too much away, I will say that both he and Maguire are. I mean, not he and Garfield are really good in No Way Home.
Oh shit, they come back? Yo!
I
Oh my gosh, I am excited to go see it now. Oh my god! Oh my god!
I probably shouldn't have said that because I feel like I might have spoiled the movie
No,
for
it's
you.
fine.
Well,
Oh,
I mean, I don't know if it's
fine.
really
It's okay.
much of a spoiler considering the trailer for No Way Home features Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2. Like, it's kind of expected that some of the other characters would be there too.
Oh, and plus, I mean, I know the Spider-Verse is a thing in the Marvel universe in itself, so obviously they kind of have those kind of Spider-Verse sort of feels to it when you got Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man being his own Spider-Verse thing, and Tobey Maguire being his own Spider-Verse thing.
Yeah, and Sadie T is calling me out for spoiling the movie for you.
Get back in your real box.
Exactly. But no, yeah.
You know what I just realized? Sidetrack.
What's up?
I just realized that the design of my still is the director.
Oh shit! Yeah, I can kind of see that with like the beret and everything.
Yeah, so it works.
Yeah, I don't know. I always kind of saw your design as being like trying to think of what it's. I remember there was like a series of like PC games when I was a kid that were like about these like teenagers who went on like all kinds of adventures. Like they went to like the pyramids and the jungles or whatever. Your still kind of reminds me of like one of those characters that was created for like one of those like educational games from when I was a kid.
Was it Clue Finders?
That might have been it. Clue Finders.
Oh my god, dude, that's my childhood. Yo, I played those games all the fucking time.
Same here. I remember the one in ancient Egypt was probably my favorite.
Yeah, I like the Toy Store one the most.
Yeah,
I just thought that was the coolest.
but I don't know. That's just kind of what your still reminds me of.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Hyper Super Meme says, "Film Nerd does a spoil. At least he didn't pull a funny Aster moment." Yeah, but anyway, going back on track. Yeah, Homecoming. Like going back to the Spider-Man movies. Like when they decided to announce to reboot the movies after Spider-Man 3, I was kind of like annoyed, but I also kind of get it because like 3, it's not a great movie, but I don't think it's like nearly as bad as its reputation. But people were divided on it, so I can see why they decided to reboot it. But then we got the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, which the first one's okay, but the second one's not good because And it kind of represents a big problem I have with Hollywood, which is that, hey, maybe instead of making one good movie, we should make a movie that, that sets up future movies, rather than just, hey, let's make a good movie, and if it does well, maybe then we can focus on more movies.
Yeah, because if you're, I mean, props for planning ahead, but if you're setting it up to be a line of, trilogies or sequels, make sure your first one's good because that's going to be the selling point of whether people are going to come back or not for the others going
Yeah.
forward.
I mean, granted, in the case of Homecoming, Spider-Man was already introduced to the MCU in Captain America: Civil War, so. But even still, like, it was still a good introduction for the Tom Holland Spider-Man. But anyway, what else is on this list? Oh, The Thing. Yeah, this is one that I really wanted to get to. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. This year marks the 40th anniversary of The Thing.
Dang, the thing's old.
Yeah.
It's getting wrinkles.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing about The Thing is that I don't know if I'd really call it a remake. It's technically a remake of a movie from the 50s called The Thing from Another World. This movie's more like a readaptation because they're both based on the same short story about like an alien who visits Earth and can basically make itself shapeshift and look like whatever it wants to. But in the original movie, the creature was just like a lumbering guy with like sharp fingernails who would just like kind of stomp around, not really shape shifting because they couldn't really do that in the 50s. But the 80s one stuck closer to the source material and made it a shapeshifter who can like take the form of anybody that it comes into contact with. So it's not really a remake, it's more like a readaptation, but it's still a phenomenal movie. It's one of my all-time favorites. CDT says, The Thing just reminds me of Wilford Brimley. Yeah, Wilford Brimley was in the movie. And I think this is like years before the whole diabetes thing.
Didn't that... I was going to say that didn't age well, but then I'm like, actually, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, anyway. But yeah, this one, exactly. I definitely agree with this one being on the list. It's phenomenal. Oh, speaking of readaptations, the 2010 True Grit. I never saw the original True Grit with John Wayne, but I did see this one with Jeff Bridges, and I remember being really damn good. And I remember there was this girl in it named Haley Steinfeld, and I was like, huh, she's really good. Can't wait to see what she does next. And years later, she's in movies like Bumblebee, and she's in the Hawkeye series, and I'm like, wow, she's a really good actress.
For sure. I didn't realize that was her. I'm like, dang.
Yeah, this is the... I don't know if this was like her first movie, but it was definitely the first one of hers I ever saw. And then, of course, she's now gone to be a pretty big actress in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. Everybody gets their starts, even if it's like in really crummy movies.
Yeah. Which, if I could go off on a side tangent, one thing I kind of hate is whenever you've got like a now famous actor who like dismisses or shits on like their early work, even if it's like, a really shitty, like, low budget sci-fi horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can certainly make jokes about it, but, you shouldn't deny it because regardless of the overall quality, you should still at least acknowledge that you did it, because if you didn't do it, then you probably wouldn't have the career you have now.
Exactly. Like, everybody starts from the bottom with their careers.
Yeah, like
whether you're an actor, a writer, or even an artist, like, you start from the ground up, and you can, make light of your old works and be like, oh man, I didn't have that as good acting skills as I did then, or man, my art was pretty doodly back then, but but you can see where you've improved and grown from it.
Yeah, like,
and just be like, this was my springboard into this where I am now.
Yeah, like Jennifer Aniston, she can joke about being in Leprechaun all she wants, but she should still like acknowledge that she did it.
Right.
Sadie T says, didn't Haley Steinfeld get picked out of 15,000 girls who auditioned for the movie? I don't know about that. I didn't really look too into it, but I wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, let's see. What else is on? Oh, that's the end of that list. So I would say I agree with most of the list. Some of it, I don't think should be on here. Like the 2007 Halloween, that has no business being on here. Fuck that movie. But everything else, I would say, definitely deserves to be on there. And I guess this kind of goes to show that as much as we shit on reboots and remakes, they're not always bad. They're just mostly bad.
Yeah, mostly bad, for sure. But not completely terrible.
Yeah, like there's certainly a place for them. I just don't think we should have so many remakes and reboots, like, because I've seen people say like, "Oh my God, Hollywood is so unoriginal. There's no original movies left." Like there are. It's just there's more. There just happens to be more remakes than original movies, or at least like that's what it seems like. There are plenty of original movies that still come out. It's just, people fixate more on the remakes than they do the original stuff.
For sure.
Yeah. But anyway, we've been going for a little over an hour, and I think we've kind of gone over as much of the topic as we wanted to. Do you want to just go ahead and call it a night?
I think so, because really it feels like if we just talk about any more remakes and reboots, it's just going to be the same thing on a broken record where it's just corporate wanting to milk that cash cow, really.
Yeah.
Especially with the mouse.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I think that's probably going to do it for the stream. I'm just going to pull up my stuff. MadiiCake, is there anything you wanted to you'd like to promote?
Yeah, I have my Twitter, my Instagram, my Tumblr. I make dank art, and the next 2 weeks I will actually be opening up art commissions for this year. So be on the lookout. I will be dropping the info in Rogue server if you're part of that. I'll also drop a link in Film server when those are open. So if anybody wants some art from me, just hit me up.
Hell yeah. Let me just pull up the window capture. Just give me 1 second. There we go. And of course, I've got my website, film-nerd.com. I post movie reviews every so often. I do, new movies, classic films, cult films. I recently got back into my bi-weekly series, Full Moon Fridays, with End of the World, which, let's just say there's a reason why Christopher Lee considers this to be the worst movie he's ever done. But then I've also got my best and worst of lists of 2021. You can go check that out and tell me, and then later on tell me how wrong I am about every single one that's on there. I also got reviews for The Green Knight, Promare, Nightmare Alley, and The King's Man. I've also got a Patreon that you can go to, donate. I've got a couple tiers. The highest tier gets you 1 review request per month. I've also got a Discord server, as MadiiCake mentioned. You can check that out. And of course, I got my YouTube channel, which if you're watching this, hopefully you subscribe to it. Really would mean a lot. And as far as 2022 goes, I'm planning on doing more edited video reviews because that's what I've always wanted to focus on. Like, the unboxing videos are fine for what they are, but they're not really what I wanted this channel to be all about. So I'm focusing on doing at least 1 video review a month. I'm going to hopefully get one out within maybe a week or so. I'm going to spend much of this weekend, because I have one on the back burner that I've been meaning to finish. So I'm going to be spending the weekend doing that. But otherwise, that's all I got. So MadiiCake, thank you so much for agreeing to be on and doing what you do.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, not a problem. And for those of you who decided to come in and spend your night with us, thank you so much for being here. I guess let me just pull up the ending music. But yeah, I guess thank you once again for coming out to the stream. And until the next one, I will see you guys later. Take care.
Bye.